Hello, it's Elizabeth, and I'm over here in my art loft again. And today I'm going to see if I can show you how to make the, call them forest floor prints. The object of the game here is to have a bunch of colors and have it look like leaves on the forest floor and not too many straight lines. So this was picked up from a plate that had red and blue and green and then gold and a light gold on it. And this was picked up, I think that was picked up afterwards, maybe beforewards actually, I'm not sure. And from the same plate, this one actually was before that. This was another set of stuff that I put on there and picked that one up, and then was able to get another print from the same plate because there's so much paint that was still on there. And I like the way this has the left and right kind of little lines in it. I think that's kind of interesting. But we're going to see if we can do the same kind of thing as these. And then this was the third print from that plate, just picking up the last little bits and pieces that were still there. Okay, so let's put that over here out of the way, maybe out of harm's way, and take off our plastic because this has my plastic that's kind of got paint all over it. And we'll get that out of the way too. And let's make sure you can see okay. Yep, I'm having this extra. I have so much stuff on my desk today. It's not even funny. So what we do to start here is we sprinkle a little bit of paint. I have to move this other book out of the way so that it doesn't get harmed in the meantime. So give me a second to do a little, oh come on you guys, quit falling over. Straightening up, which I should have done before I started the video, but it will take 2 seconds. There we go. Perfect now. Well, it was. It would be if that would stand up. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start with green because it's there. Oh, I've got to get my baby brayer too. Man, I was not prepared. Should start this over. Oh. Now I'm ready. I'm using, this is Kelly green, and it's a really pretty green. It's not just green. It's got a little bit of yellowy green to it, and it's a pretty green. And I'm just going to kind of sprinkle that. See little tiny dots in different places around my plate. And that one got a little wild, didn't it? Wild dot. And then I'm going to take my brayer and kind of spread those out just a little bit. The object is to not get straight lines. So that's what we're trying to do, is to not get straight lines. And there might be a few. Then we're going to give it a little bit of, this is Extreme Sheen Metallic Garnet. I think it's got some in here. Did yesterday. Well, hopefully it'll have it today. Come on, baby. A little dot there, maybe a little big dot. We just want some little dots here and there, not really big splats or anything, because we want to kind of spread this out to be just little bits of color on the forest floor. And yes, I know my brayer's squeaky. I kind of like it like that, but if you don't, you can turn down the sound. I'm not really saying anything important except that we don't want anything to be square, anything straight. So if we get a little line that looks straight, we will go over it again and it won't look so straight. And red and green, of course, look kind of Christmassy. So we toss in a little blue and yellow, and then it looks like we've just got a whole bunch of different colors on our plate, which is what we'll have. And this blue is actually a mix. It is not color shift blue. It's actually a mix of, well, just about any blue that makes a pretty color like that. And we're going to do the same with it. And I know there's not blue leaves, but there are, if you had the light shining through the leaves onto the forest floor and the sky was pretty blue, then you might get, and I got it on me, yeah, I just wiped it on my apron, thank goodness I have an apron. You might get some blue, a little blue down on the forest floor in the morning rainfall that had fallen or whatever. So we basically just put paint all over in little bits, trying not to have lines because there aren't straight lines. There are no straight lines in nature. If you know of any straight lines in nature, please leave me a comment to tell me I'm wrong. Then after we have a little bit of paint on here, and I think that yesterday I actually put more on because when I was taking it off, it would I would get like 2 prints before it was, I'd get the ghost print after I did the initial print, and came out with some nice things there. So I'm going to try to make sure I don't have any of those lines. I didn't want to have the straight lines. Kind of mush it together, and even though it looks like mud right now on this side, it won't look like mud necessarily on the other side because we'll be picking it up with a lovely gold. Okay, again, my gold is, this says it is metallic pale gold. I ran out of that, so I mixed what is the white it's called? Pearl white, and a couple of other colors to get it to look like the same gold that was in there. So that isn't the gold, but to me it looked the same, so that's what we have. And we'll put this on our plate, and I like to find an empty spot to put it out. And that's more than enough, probably too much. And we'll just roll that with the big brayer so we can get it on there faster. Our blue is still wet. We should have waited until it was a little drier. But I'm the impatient sort, so we sometimes do it before we should. And sometimes that can come out good, and sometimes it can backfire. So we're going to hope that this is one of the good days instead of the backfire days. And then I will roll off my brayer. And my roll-off looks kind of cool. It almost looks kind of watery itself. See, there's where I rolled off onto the brown piece of paper. Okay, so now we're ready to pick this up. We have some white. The white that I'm using is called Finch Fine, and when I bought it, it was only available in huge sheets because it was when they first came out with it. So don't ask your paper dealer when they first came out with it, because then you'll know how old I am. But just kidding. The paper is available now from Staples. You can get it in the 8.5 by 11 sheets. The kind that I have is actually 100 pounds. I think they have it at Staples in 70 pounds and 80 pounds, and 80 pounds should be plenty enough to do this. I just like the heavier paper because at the time I was doing marbling on it, and I just wanted a heavier paper. I was also using it for pages of a book, and I like the feel of the 100 pound. It has such a nice silky feel to it, and it really takes, I think it takes media really well. It takes the, like, pencil if you're drawing, or if you want to use even ballpoint pen to write on it, that will work too. That one didn't come out quite looking forest floor, but it is kind of an interesting jumble. So that's a beginning, and we'll try different colors in a minute, and we'll see what we get. So let me put this on my drying rack. I'll be right back. It seldom ever does exactly right whenever you're in front of the camera. I hope you know that, because that's the truth. It does not do what it's supposed to do in front of the camera. That piece of paper better. Okay, so I'm going to actually put on a little bit more paint. In fact, I'm going to use this orange because I've been wanting to use this orange. Is that the same one as that? Dark goldenrod. Nope, the dark one's the one I want. I don't think it's got much in there. Yeah, that might be good for our purposes. Might not. Didn't want to open either. I've had these paints for a while. I bought them in en masse at different times at Michael's whenever they'd have a paint sale, like 40% off all paints, you know, all Delta paints. Then I would go and buy them because I love the Delta brand. I think it has a good amount of pigment for being a little cheap paint, and use that for, I used it for marbling actually. I'd thin it down to marble with it, of course, because it wasn't the right consistency for marbling. But it worked, and it had a pretty good amount of, as I said, a good amount of pigment for the price. Let's put some in the middle this time. We didn't have much in the middle last time. We're going to make this kind of an autumn floor. So I'm going to use some of this Kelly green again, because I like this Kelly green. And I'm going to use a dark green too. This goo that's on the top. I think the Kelly green's kind of nice because it has a little, it's kind of a little bit of a yellow green. Not yellow enough to be yellow, but I might put some yellow on it too, because, you know, the forest floor has yellow. And that blue and red that's left over on my plate will be interesting to give like little color interest as you're doing this. I'm going to actually use some copper. I think this is, that's the red copper. We'll use that as our red this time. Gives a little metallic shine, of course, which is kind of fun. And we don't mind if they mix a little bit, because we want the mix, but we want to have, you know, it to be, the colors, we don't want the colors to all mix together, because we want to be able to see all the different little colors as we go. Yeah. I think I need a darker orange. Do I have a darker orange around here? Actually, the copper's working really well for. Oh, quit squeaking, you silly brayer. Get rid of some of this paint. And I think we're going to put another color on there before we pick this up. I think we will use this light orange, which I'm not sure what color that orange is, because the orange, it says just orange, so I guess it's just plain orange, because you can't see it. It's got paint on it. OJ. Maybe it's orange juice. Yeah. It's pretty orange. A little bit brighter than the other orange. I wanted one that was a looser paint, but I don't think this is looser. Just a little bit there, maybe a little there. Come on, just a little bit. Gotta be careful when you're squeezing it. Get too much out there. Okay, that looks good. We can probably spread those around. Looks about the same color as the other one, doesn't it? But it's not. We do want it to mix some with our green, because then it'll give us a nice little brown. And of course, a lot of your fall colors do have brown in the leaves. But basically, I'm just throwing paint on in various spots and picking it up. Okay, this time I'm going to pick it up with the Extreme Sheen Gold. The Extreme Sheen Gold has a, if I can find it, where were you? Oh, there you are. Extreme Sheen Gold. Gives a kind of yellow cast to it. We still have some wet, we have a little bit of the wet copper, we have a little bit of the wet orange, and we do have a little bit of wet green, so we'll get a different look than if we let all that dry. If we let all that dry, it'll come up more looking like this. Let's see, we've got some blue still in there. But if we don't let it dry, then we can get, we can have more interesting, fun stuff happen. Yeah, that looks a good amount. And we'll spread that with our large brayer, large non-squeaky brayer. Just want a nice, even, thin coat. And we can try to pick everything up at once, or we can try to see if we can pick up two pickups from this to the ghost print as well as the regular print. So let's see, what do we want to do? Let's see what we get with just picking up a little bit. Come on, paper. That looks pretty good, huh? What we have there. Okay, let's see what we got. We're not going to try to pick up everything that's on the plate this time. Haha, I like it. It's not what I was expecting exactly, but I like it. What do you think? It's kind of interesting. It does look like leaf litter to me, but you know, when you look at this and you see all those different colors and stuff, it may not look exactly like that when it dries. But you might see all the little, like there's still some red there, and there's some blue in there, and there's some red and blue in there too, which will be more interesting when it dries. Okay, now we could go from here and just pick this up, because that's an interesting print. See that? I think I'm going to take that with the silver and see what we get with that. If I've got enough silver. Let's see what my silver bottles are doing. That's kind of empty. Okay. What color do we want to pick it up with? I think I'll use this light blue. Yep. Let's see how that works. Might be too blue though. Probably too matte is what I'm going to think, because I really do like the metallic colors a lot. But we'll go with it. Now we're going to pick up everything that's on the plate, or try to. Doesn't always work, and we know that, we accept that. The zen of printing with a gel plate, yeah. Ew, we could call it Zen printing. Okay, I like the looks of that. So we want to make sure we get really good adhesion here. So we press kind of hard. Make sure we go over our plate multiple times, pressing down. Make sure you don't cut yourself on the edge of your paper. I have done that several times. It's a very, very annoying. Make sure you got your corners. And the middle. Middle's always bad for me. Might be wiggling the camera, hope I'm not. Sometimes when it bumps the table and wiggles it. My pens are wiggling, they're making noise, they wiggle wiggle. Okay, shall we see what we've got? Oh, well. That has an appeal. Especially right in these places like this. We've got all the various colors. Gotta see it when it's dry to really tell if you like it though, because sometimes they change a little bit. Okay, how are we doing on time? Looks like 22 minutes so far, so let's see if we can get one more print before it gets to the half hour. So we're going to put a little more of this orange down again, because I like that orange color. But we're going to do it differently this time, because we're doing, and that one's quitting on me. It's probably got a booger in its little nose here. Come on, dude. Just put some down. Quit being obstinate. I'm going to put a little bit of blue down at the same time, because blue and orange make, you guessed it, brown. So brown is a leaf litter color, and the blue is shiny. I like shiny. And we're going to throw in a little bit of the red. Just a little. Come on, let red get down to the, oh, not that way. Oh well. A little over here. We'll deal with it. Look, shiny at blue. I don't know where I got that. Oh well. That's what aprons are for. And some of the green. Where's my Kelly green again? But we want to do this fast because we want to do it in 8 minutes or less. So we're not going to use our baby brayer. We're going to use our big one and see if it will do what we want. So we're just going to basically pat these around in different places. And remember, we don't want any lines, but we're getting lines, so we're going to have to worry about that in a moment. Notice my sprayer spinning as I'm doing it. This side really doesn't count. It's the other side that counts because that will be more what we get. Ooh, I like it might roll off. It's very pretty. I don't think this is exactly how I did it yesterday. That's kind of neat, huh? Okay, let's see what we can do with this now. Let's see what it looks like on the other side. Now we got a big red snake there. So we are going to take some of that up with just a piece of paper without even putting a pickup color on it. And we're going to lightly, but all over, pick that up and pick up a lot of it. I'm just going to lay that over here for now. I'm too lazy to go to my drying rack. And now I'm going to put just a little more orange, this orange that's a little freer. And what I'm doing is breaking up some of the red pieces, and I am going to spread that with my baby roller to try to get him to spread a little better. Everything looks orange. That's okay. It'll be all right. And you notice I'm going in multiple directions. All the way to the edge. And I'm going to pick that up with a piece of paper, just as is, which will pick up some of that orange, and the other things are drying underneath of it. I'm really lightly rubbing it. Which is kind of interesting, but needs a little more paint in some of the places that are white. That'll work. And now I'm going to pick the rest of this up with my metallic gold, I think. Let's see what it looks like from the other side. Not bad. Actually, I think I'll pick it up with the blue again and see what we get, since we have a big orange blob there. Looks good. Big brayer. Get it spread out a little bit. It still has some orange that was wet, which is okay because then it makes brown. And brown is a leaf litter color. Leaf litter color. Try to say that 3 times in a row. That corner is always, from day one, it was low. Ah, this is a nice even. Nice. Okay. And we can pick that up then. And we'll try to pick up all of it, although it may or may not all pick up. So we're rubbing hard. And those pens are driving me crazy, so I'm going to remove them from my table so that they don't wiggle as I'm doing this, because it's annoying. Over here on this table. Will you sit there? Yes, thank you. Get my corners, edges, and so on. How are we doing for time? We have a few seconds. here we have it. A little too pink, but other than that, I like it. Would have been better if we picked it up with the gold. Okay, leaf litter, the way you do it, whether or not it comes out perfect, it's the way it works. Remember to subscribe and comment and all the rest of that. That was awful. I like this one. Not as good as the first ones. It's the way it always works though, isn't it? You get good ones and then you never get it again. Perfect. But we could try again.